easy! Now, why did I do that?
I'm KO Medic, and I talk about simple, life-saving skills and more. If you find yourself flying off the handle at family members, threatening inanimate objects with violence, are always on the brink of tears, then this video might be for you. But just like your grandpa was aware of, good advice lands better with a story. Meet Patrick. Pat was my partner on the ambulance for a little while. He got out of EMS. You'll soon learn why. Pat and I worked the overnight shift. It was early morning, just before we were about to get off, when the station phone rang. 10-8 for an emergency. What I heard next was...
Fucking shit! Fuck me in the ass! Fuck you, you stupid cunt! Monkey licking
As we walked out of the station to the ambulance, Patrick informs me, "You're driving." Our late emergency was a car crash in front of a gas station. Let me and AI paint the scene for what happened on the way to this wreck. Pat started yelling about how it really wasn't that hard to drive without wrecking, and ranting about how stupid people are. When that didn't satisfy his rage, he rolled down the window and began taking handfuls of gloves and throwing them out like it was a parade. Well, everyone involved in the wreck was mostly uninjured and refused transport. It could have been that they just didn't feel like they needed an ambulance, and that's why they refused. Or it could have been Pat's sunny disposition at the scene of the crash. Either way, when we got back to the station, Pat got out of the ambulance, didn't bother making crew change, walked to his car like this and proclaimed, "Have fun doing this shit for the rest of your life." This was Patrick's last day on the ambulance. I'm picking on Pat, but only to highlight something that a lot of people are unaware of, how badly it's affecting them. And that is microstress. Harvard Business describes microstress as small moments of stress that seem manageable on their own. These are often reoccurring in our daily lives. The feelings of stress, worry, and anxiety all go hand in hand. But for simplicity's sake, we are going to use the term stress or microstress. The medical field is teeming with microstress. Getting off late, piles of paperwork, missing out on holidays and special events, fighting with technology, managing multiple problems at a time, upset patients and their family, and of course, dealing with coworkers. Feel free to comment some in your own life, but I would venture to say everyone's career and personal life has microstress. And when we don't manage stress in a healthy way, we can become a powder keg of emotion, and the tiniest spark can ignite a negative chain reaction.
Oh, fireworks, lovely.
Think of someone with road rage. I'm not talking about someone that honks and maybe flips you off. I'm talking about extreme road rage. The attempt to run you off the road and follow you to your house road rage. Some of that land you in federal, pound you in the ass prison road rage. Do you think that person's life was going absolutely great before they got behind the wheel, and then suddenly they're filled with murderous rage? Probably not. It's more likely that you're looking at someone that poorly manages stress. I am not innocent in this regard. In fact, I'd say I was a top offender. I will tell you in a minute how I myself manage stress now, but first, let me tell on myself a little bit more. I was always on the brink of my emotions spilling over. In front of others, it was anger. When I was by myself, it was anger and sometimes tears. Sometimes angry tears. I know this played a hand in ruining my marriage, and no doubt caused my sons to have their own microstress. And full stop, I'm gonna admit, I was stress eating. I got fat as early in my career. Okay, so microstress is killing us. What can we do about it? Well, let me tell you how I manage it, and then I'll tell you what I learned through research. And yes, some of the advice is exercise.
I'm sorry.
But I have to say, frequent exercise might be your best ally to combat stress. I'm not saying you gotta start doing CrossFit, then subsequently talk about CrossFit every 37 seconds. I like walking, especially in early sunlight. Walking might be the king of all exercises. Fully expect a video on the benefits of walking in sunlight, y'all. But I make sure there are regular activities in my life that I look forward to. One of these is video games with my sons. Check out our gaming channel if you're into that. According to this 2020 study, joy, especially in the form of laughter, reduces stress hormones. I'll link the study in the description, but a lot of information out there suggests that joy is almost the opposite of stress. And joy comes in many flavors: playing with pets, organizing your living space, completing personal projects, spending more time with loved ones, learning a new skill, getting and giving affection, and yes, that one thing we don't need to mention. However, I am not including doom scrolling on Instagram as a good way to relieve stress. I'm sorry, Mark, but there is very little about social media that actually improves our lives. But here is the kicker. You can't expect to reap the stress-relieving benefits from any of these activities if you are doing them infrequently. We are trying to combat daily, reoccurring stress. Wouldn't it make sense for stress relief to also be frequent, even daily if possible? Planning out your days off is like a much-neglected superpower. Hell, just poor time management could be one of the major contributing factors to your stress levels. When you're planning your day, include activities that help you unwind and relax. You heard me right. Plan to enjoy yourself. Most of us waste at least a little bit of time each day that we could put towards something beneficial to us. After all, stress kills, even in microdoses. Cool thing is, you can combine activities and thus compound benefits. Let me give you some examples. Trying to connect more with a family member? Invite them to go on an evening walk after dinner. If they don't live with you, call them while you walk. Study for that test out in the sunlight while you play fetch with your dog. Unless you live in Louisiana like me. Build that Lego set you got 2 years ago and listen to a podcast. Write a script for your much-neglected YouTube channel while you listen to instrumental versions of pop songs. These suggestions too weak for you? You need some more hardcore stress relief? Go to a rage room and break shit. Or do like me. I use a sledgehammer to wail on this tire I half buried. Poor quality sleep only makes matters worse when it comes to stress. I will make a video on more ways to improve sleep, but for now, that brings us back to exercise. I'm sorry, but the relationship between sleep and exercise is too great to ignore. If you find yourself too stressed to sleep, oh yeah, that's a thing. Try this. Wake up earlier than normal and go for a nice long walk. Let some morning sunlight hit your face. Unless, of course, you work night shift. In that case, you're just doomed, I'm sorry. I'm just playing, but I seriously think companies should have to pay some sort of sorry for f***ing up your circadian rhythm bonus to night shifters. I'm gonna say something that will make some people mad. But if you plan to use exercise in order to relieve stress, don't do exercises you hate. You will stress about having to exercise. For the love of God, try not to injure yourself while exercising. Not being able to work because you wrecked your shoulder ain't gonna help stress levels. Obviously, there could be other reasons besides microstress causing you to struggle with controlling your emotions. So consider talking to your doctor or psychiatrist. And if you're having thoughts of harming yourself or others, definitely seek professional help. Don't let the education stop here. I want my comment section to be a place of learning. So down below, comment any activity that you do that seems to help combat stress in your life. Take care.